Happy Thanksgiving. Chances are today you're going to eat some turkey. If you're from the South like me, you're going to eat dressing. We don't eat stuffing. We don't know what stuffing is. We eat dressing in the South. And possibly you're going to eat some pecan pie, or is it pecan pie? Well, as a historian, I can tell you the answer to that question. And you could just probably Google it, but you're not going to get a cool history lesson if you do that. So today I'm going to teach you how to pronounce this word right here. Okay, so I'm from the deep South. In fact, I'm from an area that has a lot of trees that produce this nut. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I refer to those nuts as pecans. And everyone in the area that I live pretty much calls them pecans. We have companies with the word pecan in their name. We even have our own special recipe of pecan named after our town. And so chances are around here, if you hear somebody referencing this nut, they're going to say pecan. But you'll also hear people say pecan. And sometimes you'll hear an argument about, is it pecan? Is it pecan? And I think a lot of it has to do with what region of the country you're from and things like that. But to be honest, pecan is wrong. And I'll tell you why, okay? So this nut is indigenous to the Americas. In fact, it's pretty common in the American South. And when Europeans first came to the New World, we had this thing called the Columbian Exchange. The Columbian Exchange is the exchange of plants, animals, people, diseases, technology, and ideas between the Old World and the New World. And so there were things in the New World, or the Americas, that people from the Old World had never seen. And there was things from the Old World that the people in the New World had never seen. And then there were things that were sort of common to both. For example, an Englishman in the New World, if he saw a dog, he would know what a dog is. He would know what a wolf is. But then there were things that they had never seen. And so a lot of times in these cases, they would use an indigenous word. All right. So for example, a raccoon is it's an American animal. And so the word raccoon is an Algonquin word. It's an Indian word that Europeans adopted because they didn't have any other name for a raccoon. Another example of this would be a possum. Possums are from the New World, and so they would use that Algonquin word. And a lot of times these words would sort of get anglicized a little bit. So raccoon and possum are anglicizations of Algonquin words. However, with the case of the pecan or the pecan, the English wrote about these nuts. So early explorers to the southeast would write about everything they saw, and one of the things they described was this nut that was similar to a walnut or a hickory nut. And they didn't have a European name for this nut already, so they explained that the Indians called these pecans. And the reason I know that that's how they pronounced it is because at this time, in the late 16th, early 17th centuries, English was not a language that was standardized. There weren't standardized spellings of words. And people just wrote words the way they sounded. And so you could have two different Englishmen writing the word news, for example, two different ways. And it makes it challenging in my job when I'm reading primary sources, especially from the 1600s or earlier, what they're talking about. People just wrote the way it sounded. And so as these early naturalists and explorers are writing about the plants and the animals of the New World, and a lot of them reference this nut, the pecan or the pecan. In a few examples, we see where they wrote this nut spelled P-E-C-A-W-N. And if they wrote it that way, then that means that's the way they heard it. and they heard it that way from the Indians. So, as bad as I hate to say it, being from pecan country and from an area that a large part of our economy comes from pecans, and a guy that likes pecan pie, and a guy that likes pecans, on his desserts and things like that, it is probably better pronounced pecan. That said, as a free American, I can say it however I want. And the good thing about the English language is some words have more than one pronunciation, and various pronunciations are all seen as correct. And so if you want to say pecan pie, go for it. If you want to say pecan pie, go for it. The important thing is to remember what today is about, and it's about being thankful for everything we have. And if you're watching this, you have something to be thankful for. God has put breath in your lungs, and that's enough to be thankful for if you're not thankful for anything else. So I can tell you I've got a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my family, thankful for my job, thankful for our property that we have. I'm thankful for everything, and I can't thank God enough for everything He's done for me. But I've heard people say before, imagine if the only thing you had tomorrow when you woke up was what you thanked God for today. And so, take a moment today on Thanksgiving and thank God for everything that you have. Thank you for watching.